Hi there, my name's Simon Drew, and I'd like to welcome you to the Practical Stoic Podcast, where I give you practical Stoic advice for modern times. If you'd like to learn more about Stoicism, or if you want some added inspiration in your day, just go to my website. It's risetothegoodlife.com. If you're interested in transforming your life with Stoic principles, then I also offer one-on-one coaching. To book your first free session, just head to risetothegoodlife.com/coaching and follow the links. But for now, enjoy this episode. Hi there, my name's Simon Drew, and welcome to the Practical Stoic Podcast. Since people started thinking about life, they've also been thinking about death. Life and death are not mutually exclusive. They come as a package deal. And philosophers throughout the ages have tried to make sense of the gruesome truth that one day we all must die. I've been meaning to do an episode about death since I started this podcast because it's such an important part of Stoic philosophy, and it would be a mistake for me to never discuss it. But the reason why I haven't talked about it so far is because there are so many levels of conversations that we could have about death and Stoicism. And I probably would have to do at least 10 episodes just to scratch the surface. But recently I got an email from a fan of the podcast that really pushed me to do this first episode on death. And in the email he said, quote, "Finding out about Stoicism couldn't have come at a better time in my life because I've been losing my way with how to live my life in the best possible way. My mother has terminal cancer and is starting to deteriorate now. As much as this is a time for sadness, I've started to see the benefits of Stoicism already, and I'm thinking more about the great times that I've experienced with my mother and family, and how lucky I have been to have such a wonderful life thanks to her." End quote. You know, I'm so grateful that this listener messaged me and shared his current situation with me. And I'm grateful that he allowed me to share this with you because it really helps to hear about these situations, especially if we allow them to inform the way that we think about life and death. You know, the Stoics often talked about death as being one of the ultimate challenges of life. And not only our own death, but the death of loved ones. How do we come to terms with the fact that at any moment someone close to us could be swiftly taken away? How can we make sense of this? The Stoics had many thoughts on this, and the overwhelming theme was that we should come to understand that death is a part of life, and that it is something that is outside of our control. We are here only for a brief time, and without a full understanding of the fact that we will all die, we cannot begin to truly live. This Stoic principle is portrayed best in the Marcus Aurelius quote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." The Stoics taught us that death should inform the way that we live our lives. Memento mori is the famous maxim that we often talk about, which means remember you will die. And by remembering this simple fact, the Stoics teach us that we will be more likely to live a beautiful life, because we will realize that any moment may be our last. And not only this, but we should also remember that those people who are closest to us are also destined to die. And when this happens is not up to us. That email from the listener was a profound reminder to me, as I hope it will be to you, that at any moment someone who is so important to you may be taken away, or may begin the journey towards being taken away. I think that Epictetus gave the most beautiful analogy of death when he said, quote, "I am not eternity, but a human being. A part of the whole. As an hour is a part of the day, I must come like the hour, and like the hour I must pass." End quote. Think of all the people who have come and gone before you. Think of all the people who will come after you. All of these billions of people came and went like the hours and the minutes of a day. All these people lived and loved and had children and fought wars and built homes and communities and nations. All of these people played a role in creating the world that we now live in, and all of them died. And so now that it is our turn, and now that we have the opportunity to make our mark on this earth and to live and to love and grow and learn, it is our Stoic duty to understand that for us and those we love, our time is quickly coming to an end. And the right course of action is not to bewail death as if it is unfair or inconvenient, but instead we should allow the facts of life to inform how we live every single day. Let death teach you how to live, how to love, how to share, how to learn. And, I want to go back to what was said in that email, because something that he said was very true to what a Stoic would advise in his situation. He said, quote, "As much as this is a time for sadness, I've started to see the benefits of Stoicism already, and I'm thinking more about the great times that I've experienced with my mother and family, and about how lucky I have been to have such a wonderful life thanks to her." End quote. I really admire what he said here, because what he's describing is exactly what the Stoics have advised us to do when people close to us are dying or have died, which is to employ gratitude in order to remember all of the beauty and joy that this person has brought into your life. In the many situations that we face in life, we have power over few things, but one thing that we do have power over is how we respond to the situation. And so when someone who is close to you is dying or has died, you have some options. You could become sour and angry at life and ask, why would this happen to me? But to ask this question would be foolish, because it's not happening to you. It's happening to all of us. Death is and always has been near, and it may strike any person at any time. The positive response to this situation is to focus on all the good times that you had with that person, and to allow their life to inform how you will live yours. Focus on the beauty that they brought into this world, and if you're lucky enough to have time with that person before they die, make sure that their last moments on earth are moments of joy, love, and beautiful memories. And even though not all of us are facing the death of a loved one, death can still change the way that we live our lives today. As I said earlier, the email that I received was a reminder of the fact that everyone must die. And so in this episode, I just really wanted to get you to think about this fact of life. And I want you to start allowing the inevitability of death to change the way that you interact with people in your life. Think of those who are closest to you, and then imagine if they were soon going to die. How would you treat them today? How much time would you spend with them? How intently would you listen while they were talking? How generously would you give of your time? Would you still hold grudges? Would you argue with them? Would you be angry around them? Think about this today and for the rest of your life as you interact with people. And remember now, while we and our loved ones are still alive, we should be living as if they were soon going to die, which is a fact of life. After death, it's too late to apologize. After death, it's too late to be kind. After death, it's too late to say, "I love you." After death, it's too late to listen. Listen now. Love now. Be kind now. There is no other time than now. Tomorrow is uncertain, and yesterday is gone. So with those who you love, remember that there is only this moment. Come to terms with the fact that death is always hanging over us. And I promise that as you do this, each day will seem like a gift for you to cherish. Each person will be someone for you to love. Each moment will be an opportunity for you to change the world. I'll talk to you next time, but until then, I hope that this episode has helped you on your rise to the good life. Ciao. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Practical Stoic Podcast. I hope that you've gotten a lot of value out of it, and I hope that it helps you to live a better life. If you have enjoyed the podcast, then don't forget to subscribe so that you'll be the first to know when there are new episodes. If you really love the podcast, then I would appreciate a positive review, whether that's on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever else you listen. Don't forget that if you're interested in one-on-one Stoic coaching, then you can head to risetothegoodlife.com/coaching to book your first free session today.